Welcome to America's Day at the Races on a Super Saturday on the road to the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks. Our program brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Live coverage from South Ozone Park at Aqueduct Racetrack, where we have early stakes action with a Jimmy Winkfield. That's coming up in race 3, and of course on the road to the Kentucky Derby later today in New York. That'll be on our FS1 coverage. It kicks off at 4 Eastern time with the Withers later today. Champion 2-year-old filly Wonder Wheel back in action in the Suncoast, and W. Nell, who beat Arctic Arrogance, who's probably going to be the favorite in the Withers. We'll see him in the Sam F. Davis down in Oldsmar, Florida as well. Here's a look at all today's stakes action coming up. We are loaded with terrific racing. Dixie Belle, that is 3-year-old sprinting 6 furlongs at Oaklawn out in Hot Springs. We'll have live coverage there coming up also. That's a lot to fill our plate on this Saturday afternoon. Greg Wolf alongside New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. It's going to be a fun Saturday.
It is. Every Saturday with you is fun, Greg. Looking forward to a lot of good stuff going on. Races out of town. Looking forward to those races at Tampa as well, and hoping Keisha's enjoying a warm day there.
And this Jimmy Winkfield five-horse field that's going to line up here for these 3-year-olds. Drew's Gold coming in from out of town. What do you think about him?
I think he's very dangerous. Obviously, he's got to legitimize a 5.5 furlong race, but he clearly improved a lot from his debut, coming back off a layoff. But, you know, you say it a lot. I don't always agree, but I'll agree in this race. I don't think there's a big separation among anybody in the field. I think you could make a case for just about really anybody. Race
away from that early stake on our Saturday card here at Aqueduct. Take a look at the track conditions. What we're covering today, presented by Claiborne Farm, fast in New York. That Jimmy Winkfield race 3. We're a race away from that. We're 2 minutes to post in race 2. Oaklawn getting set to kick off in a little bit. They're listed, I believe they're muddy actually at Oaklawn. We'll update that for you in a moment. In Oldsmar, Florida, fast and firm for their action, where we see the 3-year-old Wonder Wheel, 2-year-old champion filly making her return in the Suncoast, as well as that Sam F. Davis. You can play all the action, get signed up and started with Naira Bets, $200 deposit match sign-up bonus when you punch in that promo code for new members, match 200 at NairaBets.com.
And it seems like the 3-year-old fillies are really just about getting ready to really get started, because not only the 2-year-old champion, a lot of people are interested in seeing how Julia Shining does against her, and our friend Tom Amos's horse, the filly Hoosier Filly making her debut next weekend. So it's really starting to see some of the horses that potentially we'll see in the Kentucky Oaks in the summer in New York.
Race 2 kicks off the early pick 4. It's the New York bred $25,000 claiming race, 6 furlong sprints. Wide open board, as you can see right now. For more, let's head downstairs and say hello to Maggie Wolfendale.
And we'll say hello to Foolish Ghost, who is your favorite. Yes, a lukewarm favorite, but has held that position throughout the wagering thus far. And I think he's garnered the attention because of the scratch of Bronx Bomber, who was the only horse in here who looked to challenge him on the front end. He looks to be loose in here, which is something he has not been in several of his recent performances. But those recent performances have been bad. They have not been good. They have not been the stakes-winning Foolish Ghost of years past. But he does get some class relief. I just wish, as a favorite, he looked a bit better. I am very familiar with this horse. I've watched him throughout his 6 years on the racetrack, and I've just seen him look a bit better. He can win here, given the dynamics, given the class relief, but as a favorite, I might turn my attention elsewhere. I was very much on the fence with number 2, Quick Return, because I thought he was with the racetrack last time. He did get shuffled back a little bit going around the turn. Then he tried to come on again, and Trouble would complement that race by coming back and winning against a tougher company. But he was with the flow of the racetrack, considering it was more of an inside-y type of track, and he just did not fire for Antonio Arriaga, who is generally pretty potent off the claim. Looks good, though, here. Warmed up really, really well. I think he's pretty interesting. I kind of went with the positive aspect when I saw him warm up. And then there's a long shot on the outside that looks best in this field, and that's number 8, First Deputy, Lolita Shivmagul. She doesn't run that many horses. She's a bit of a lower profile barn, but I'll tell you what, the horsemanship's there. Her horses' coats always look fantastic. Their weight is great, and this guy is sharp, but he's contained today. In the past, I've seen him get really washy and kind of nervous. That's not the case, and I think he's interesting, finally getting back on a fast track after 3 consecutive sloppy track efforts, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Right now, back to the favorite, Foolish Ghost. 10-time winner for this 8-year-old in the past. Obviously, all that back class, but yeah, the last couple of races, albeit against better, not been the same horse.
Yeah, I think he's very, very much the horse to beat in this race. He's the controlling speed. He dueled with Today's Flavor last time. It looks headed to stake races, and you saw Bold Journey ran yesterday, finished second. He did. He got a 96 buyer. You and I talked about how it could be that high a figure. And the time before that, he's dueling against horses like Sheriff Bianco. The time before that, he couldn't even make the lead. He's just in a much different situation. I'm not saying I love him. I did pick him, and I thought he'd be a slightly higher price, but he is the controlling speed. This is a completely different scenario. I do agree with Maggie, though. My long shot pick was the number 8 in the outside. I picked the race 1-8. First Deputy had a bit of a trip last time, and, you know, Lolita Shimangel is not exactly a household name, but her horses run, and I think this horse is a little bit of an interesting horse at a price.
Yeah, 14-1 from that outside post. Is again, we get set for the pick 4. Coming up here in race 2, it was a heavy odds-on favorite, first-time starter for Todd Pletcher, Monroe, to kick off the card with John Velasquez in the opener.
Good news is John Velasquez already paid for his plane trip.
Indeed.
So the rest of today is just gravy for Johnny. And people wondering why he's here, he was scheduled to ride a horse for Todd Pletcher in the Withers that got sick and didn't ship. He had a number of other mounts, didn't have the business necessarily because he's supposed to ride here, so he came anyway, and we're glad to see Johnny at Aqueduct. He's ridden here before.
Couple of wins.
Yeah, he's won a few races, though. I think he's probably won more races here than he has at Saratoga. And he's won quite a few there, if you might have noticed.
9-1, Gandy Dancing, a horse who woke up on a wet track last time out. Ruby's in Time, I thought interesting in this spot as well.
Filly against the boys, or a mare against the boys, I should say. We saw one win here on Thursday.
Yeah, 7-year-old mare of the 5. But
they don't turn back into a filly, right? Once they become a mare at 5, it's mare going forward.
I wish we could work out that trick for me. Try and get younger.
Yeah, I'm not doing one. I'm trying to get thinner, too. That's not working either.
Fountain of Youth is later this year, right? Foolish Ghost, the favorite from the inside. We'll see if this horse could take him gate to wire. We're set for the second. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
All set. And they're off. Ruby's in Time has speed, and so does Foolish Ghost. And now Foolish Ghost is in front, is up by a clear length and a half. Ruby's in Time is now challenging there with Quick Return. They're second and third as the leader gets away, is 2 in front. It's a big gap already of another 5 lengths back to Mass Marauder in the Red Silks. Gets passed up on the outside by Gandy Dancing is in the green cap. Further back in the field is First Deputy, and far back right now the trailer. At the back end of the field there, Gandy Dancing is the trailer as they move into the far turn. It's Foolish Ghost who's got the lead. Foolish Ghost is in front. Ruby's in Time is right there in second, and there's Quick Return in third. Making a move to the inside is Mass Marauder. Also moving forward, Gandy Dancing and First Deputy, and that's Double Shot at the back of the field. They're approaching a quarter mile left to go. 23 seconds flat for the opening quarter mile for Foolish Ghost, who's trying to take them all the way. Foolish Ghost is up by 3 lengths. Ruby's in Time is in pursuit. Following that move is Quick Return. They went 47.64 for a half-mile time. Can Foolish Ghost take them all the way? First Deputy starts to get rolling as well in the blue cap. Foolish Ghost has an 1/8 of a mile to go. Mass Marauder is chasing Quick Return. First Deputy is going to be launching late. Foolish Ghost is tiring late. Foolish Ghost needs the line. First Deputy up on the outside. First Deputy, Foolish Ghost, First Deputy in Time. First Deputy gets up over Foolish Ghost. Mass Marauder in a photo in 1 minute 14.13 seconds.
Poor Foolish Ghost, the 8-year-old, doing everything on his own and just runs out of steam late here. First Deputy, Lolita Shimangel, Jason Huas, the win.
Well, I mean, as far as Foolish Ghost, he had no excuse. He got the clear lead he was supposed to, and he just couldn't hold on. Both Maggie and I talked about First Deputy before the race. Lolita Shimangel, congratulations to her. This is a horse that had a trip last time. Didn't get out of the gate, actually ran well. This was obviously a tougher field, but a very big price here, and price has to sort of be your guide. I didn't love this horse, but 14-1. A bit of an overlay on this horse, and gets it done.
14-1, as mentioned, yeah, with a, was it 1-5 in the first race on the card?
Yeah. I'm so mad at myself. You know, it is. It's funny, a friend was just teasing me. I picked the 1-8. I'm supposed to put the 14-1 on top, right? But the one we didn't think would be this short a price, right?
8-1-3-2 still to come on the road to the Derby here in New York. Arctic Arrogance putting blinkers on to try and get over the hump. And W now, horse that beat him in the Remsen, taking his act south. We'll be back.
Here's champion Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
In its 97th season, Tampa Bay Downs has plenty of history. Today, there are many new things to see and do, and perhaps most importantly, the track's racing surfaces have become a big draw for owners and trainers looking to find the winner's circle.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, the turf course is beautiful. And when we started training, me and my wife, we had horses that were turf horses, and we needed to spend the winter somewhere. So we give it a go, and we really enjoy the place, the atmosphere, and the fact that horses winter very well.
Well, as you can see, everybody comes here to run on the turf, get their horses ready for going north. And the dirt track is, when you leave here, you can pretty well win at any track. The horses get legged up good here, and it's a very safe track.
We just want to give our horses enough foundation and experience to be able to obviously go to bigger meets, meaning Kinlan, New York, and you know how tough that can be. And we feel that Tampa is the right place to do so.
There are several places to enjoy all of that great racing, with new stadium seating in the grandstand, covered cabanas on the first floor, and the veranda, which gives your group the best seat in the house, directly across from the winner's circle. There's more fun to be had next door at the Downs Golf Practice Facility, which was launched in 2003.
We offer a fully stocked pro shop. We carry about 9 different brands of apparel, clubs, golf balls, gloves, you name it. Full short game area. You can actually bet the horses inside of our pro shop. We like to call ourselves the only driving range where you can bet horses and play golf in the same day at the same location. You know, joining the golf with the racetrack for families is perfect. You know, you can come over here, hit some golf balls, and then go have some lunch over at the track and play the horses. And there's obviously a lot of stuff to do over there for kids as well. So it's a perfect place.
Fans can also experience the Silks Poker Room on the 3rd floor with a variety of high-stakes games and tournament competition. Whatever you're looking for on race day, you can find it at Tampa Bay Downs.
The word is approachable, both as a fan and as an owner. Everybody that you run into wants you to be here. You have a real connection to the people, and I'm talking from the racing office all the way down to concessions. So it's just a great place to be an owner. It's a great place to train horses. It's probably the best surface in the country, and there's no better place to be in the winter.
Keisha Clement with that feature. We're going to check in with Acacia live from Oldsmar, Florida for more on this festival preview day in just a little bit. Right now it's race 2 coming up immediately. 6.5 furlongs, $8,000 claiming tag, so they're all for sale for that price. Horses who have not won 2 lifetime. Huge favoritism, Andy, to the 3 Tap First. Big drop in class.
Yeah, is a big dropper here. I mean, you and I are not inclined to try to, like horses like this, I think, but looking at the field and looking at the drop down, I mean, where else are you supposed to go? Maybe the 6 on the turn back? I couldn't make a strong case for anybody. I'd be 1-6 in here.
Waiting
or
on
3-6, excuse me.
Brave Hilaria, the 10, the last to load. Jason Beam, the call. Here's the second from Tampa Bay Downs.
Indian. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Tap First, the favorite, got away cleanly, goes out for the early advantage. Excellent Mark trying to run with that one and done right to the inside. So the 3 inside runners fastest here as they come onto the main track. Assert Dominance and Pretty Dude just in behind them as the top 5, only separated by a length up the back stretch. That quintet goes 4.5 lengths ahead of Can't Glide by Cats, who's all alone in the 6th spot. Break of 4 more then back to Little Bull. After that comes Brave Hilaria, who moves up outside of Clear to Close, and Mr. Fernando is the trailer. 10th and last at about 11 or 12 off the battle up front. Done right on the inside of Tap First. Those two through an opening quarter in 22 3/5 seconds. Assert Dominance joining them up from the outside, and now 3 of them across the course past the 3/8 pole. That trio goes 5 ahead of Can't Glide by Cats, who's up to 4th. Excellent Mark starts to retreat. Little Bull starts to make up some ground, is 6th right now. Moving on by Excellent Mark. Brave Hilaria is also on the march as well. Tap First and Assert Dominance. These two noses apart as they come to the top of the stretch, and Assert Dominance right up alongside of Tap First. These two face up pretty much as one. They're 4.5 or 5 lengths clear. Done right. Can't Glide by Cats. Little Bull down the outside. A final furlong left to go. Assert Dominance now ahead in front. Tap First going to have to re-rally in that final 16th of a mile. Can't Glide by Cats continue to make up ground. Excellent Mark toward the inside. Assert Dominance just in front. Assert Dominance as they come to the wire. Assert Dominance to win it. Second ended up very close. Can't Glide by Cats in a photo with Tap First. And Excellent Mark was after that in 4th.
One you mentioned off that long layoff, hadn't raced since May of last year with the upset score here in the second at Tampa.
Surprising speed from the number 6 in this race, Assert Dominance, right? I mean, a horse cutting back, coming off the layoff, but I guess fresh enough to get it done, and didn't manage to run down the heavy favorite in here. 3-5 on Tap First, who may have held second, but Assert Dominance getting it done.
Yeah, it's 6-1 in here. Tight for second. It did look like the 3. Tap First may have crossed that wire second. Time for our Kentucky Derby snapshot as we get set for that first Saturday in May. And a couple of preps we'll have in the program today, including the Sam F. Davis Race 10 on the card in Oldsmar, Florida. W. Nell, who we saw here in New York, won the Grade 2 Remsen to end his 2-year-old campaign. He's going to be the one to beat coming up today for his 3-year-old debut. Let's check it with Acacia Clement for more.
Hey, Greg. Hey, Andy. Can't wait to see WNL today. And, of course, the big question in today's Sam F. Davis will be how he handles a fast main track. There is a little bit of rain in the forecast scheduled for later on today, so we'll see what we have a little bit later on. But as far as WNL, he ran a 90 Beyer speed figure for his most recent start for trainer Danny Gargan, and will have coming in off of back-to-back victories in today's Sam F. Davis, stepping into that Kentucky Derby picture one more time. We'll see what he has to offer today. There are, of course, a big competition this afternoon as we'll get a chance to see horses moving forward in their 3-year-old season, and that does include a filly who is a 2-year-old champion coming back this year for her first start as a 3-year-old. That's Wonder Wheel, who was the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner for trainer Mark Casse back in November. She hasn't raced since the Breeders' Cup. This will be the first start of her season. Wonder Wheel in the Suncoast today, stepping into the Kentucky Oaks picture. Mark Casse and her connection saying the game plan will be to go from the Suncoast onto the Ashland, with the ultimate goal being that Kentucky Oaks. But she is a filly that has done very little wrong in her career so far. We've got some big stars on the program today at Tampa Bay Downs, Greg.
We do indeed. Thank you, Acacia. We're looking forward to it. Meanwhile, back here in New York, our ABR race of the week, it is the horse who was bested by WNL, and then sort of same scenario. Lugan Knight did the same thing to Arctic Arrogance. Of course, gets right up to both these horses and is unable to get by and finish today. An equipment change. We'll put blinkers on.
I think the biggest advantage for Arctic Arrogance is the change in draw from when this race was scheduled last week, because while only Jungfrau joined the field, Arctic Arrogance had an outside post last week, and so he probably couldn't have been in front of Andiamo a Firenze. But now with the rail and Andiamo Firenze drawing the outside, he might be the speed. And I do worry that he's just a horse that's very talented, and he's run the best race of anybody in this field. But I don't know if he has that will to really pass horses, and that worries me a little bit on him. And I think drawing the rail, one of two things could happen. Now, maybe the 7 just clears and he gets in that same predicament, or he's able to control in the front end. I say 1 of 3. The other possibility is there is potential other speed near. Prove Right's not slow, 90% Maddie not slow, and Andiamo Forense got to be aggressive today. It's possible the pace gets a little hot, and that might work against him as well. Interesting race.
Linda Rice has said he seemed more aggressive, more responsive with those blinkers. But, yeah, that draw makes things a little bit tricky for him, too. And Andiamo Forense, it looks like they chose not to go to the lead last time out. That horse is naturally probably the quickest horse in here.
And it's hard to imagine. And listen, they were trying to learn about the horse. You can't knock them for that. But they learned. And if they're going to come back in this race, they've got to go back to doing what he does best. And I don't think anybody's going to dispute if he has any chance to be effective in this race at 9 furlongs, it's going to be on the front end. So I still think he's going to clear because I think they just have to go. They have to commit.
It is part of a wager that's back. That cross-country pick 5 returns, and the Sam F. Davis will be the anchor leg of the sequence. All stakes with the exception of that 8th at Oaklawn in there. Pelican, Grade 3 Withers, Suncoast with Wonder Wheel. The 8th at Oaklawn, an allowance race, and then the Grade 3 Sam F. Davis comprise this cross-country pick 5. It kicks off at 4:16 Eastern time. Find it under XP5 on your NYRA-Bets wagering platform. Good luck to everybody playing. Stakes action coming up next here in New York with 3-year-olds sprinting 6 furlongs in the Jimmy Winkfield, named after the last African-American rider to win the Kentucky Derby. He was one of only 5 to win back-to-back runnings of the Derby back in 1901 and 1902. 5-horse field. Board tells you it is evenly matched. Favor right now is Clubhouse for Todd Pletcher on the outside. Let's head downstairs to Maggie.
We'll take a look, though, first here in the paddock at a horse who is coming here for the first time and is putting an undefeated record on the line. That's number 5 in here, Drew's Gold, 4, Drew's Gold, for Jimmy Chapman. And he is one that, Jimmy has said, still has some learning to do, but there's obvious talent because he doesn't seem to get out of the gate really well. He reared up last time, leapt in the air, and then tried to run off down the backside, but still had plenty left in the tank going the 5.5 furlongs. Now, he broke his maiden really early on in a restricted maiden race in May of his 2-year-old year, but he fits the billing here. I mean, he's an out-and-out sprinting type. If you could ever kind of put it all together, he might actually be really good because physically he matches up to what his form would suggest. That he is a horse that should be quick if he can ever get out of the gate, and just really well developed, especially in his hind end. He's definitely the most appealing proposition here based upon physicality. As we'll move on to Todd Pletcher's number 5, Clubhouse. I'm still not sure about this horse. Look, his last race was definitely a big step in the right direction. You know, visually, he really powered away from that field quite nicely when Kendrick Carmouche asked him to switch his leads, and he geared him down and he accelerated. You could see it visually, him actually extending his stride, which I like to see, and maybe he's a horse that just hates a wet track. But don't forget, he has been beaten by Cool Cath Van Du, who's going to be a bigger price than him in here. He looks healthy, he looks, you know, fine physically, great, but he just hasn't changed much. You know, he still looks like the same horse that debuted back at Saratoga on the turf. So he definitely gets the real acid test here, Greg.
He is the 2-to-1 favorite, Clubhouse for Todd Pletcher. He actually started this horse first 3 starts of his career, came on the grass. Don't often take this long when they have talent from the Pletcher barn to take 6 starts to break their maiden. He just did it last time out. It looked like he woke up in that performance. Now comes his first test against winners in the Jimmy Winkfield.
Here comes Malatha. Here comes Clariere on the outside, and it's going to be Clariere. Nest, much the best. She won by better than 10 lengths. And Elite Power gets up to win the sprint outside. It's Malatha coming to the wire. Who's it going to be? Here's the wire. Oh, the wish has come true. That one's for you, Cody.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? NYRA Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Number 1 is Mo Donegal by Uncle Mo. And they're off in the Remsen. As they come on for the finish, and it's going to be tight here in the Remsen. Mo Donegal. Mo Donegal bearing down on the outside. It's Mo Donegal and early voting, and it is Mo Donegal to win the Wood Memorial. And it will be Mo Donegal to win the Test of the Champion, the Belmont Stakes.
Tampa Bay Downs has a rich thoroughbred horse racing history in Florida dating back to 1926. Celebrities such as Babe Ruth, Jack Dempsey, and John Ringling all attended opening day. In 1981, Hall of Fame jockey Julie Crone won her first career race here, and in 2007, we saw Street Sense win the Tampa Bay Derby and go on later that year to win the Kentucky Derby. Featuring full fields, great turf racing, and a 15% takeout on our Pick 5, Tampa Bay Downs has live racing every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. Up next, it is the Jimmy Winkfield, and there is the legendary rider. Took until 2004 for him finally to get recognized and inducted into the Hall of Fame. Way too long. What a rider. Someone who knew that circuit back when he was riding said he had no particular riding style. He just sat up there like a piece of gold. Back-to-back derbies, probably should have won a third in 1903. He was the runner-up that year. Began his career as a 16-year-old rider, became a great trainer as well, and actually gave a leg up to a promising young rider early on named Bill Hartack, who would go on to win 5 derbies.
I think he was pretty good, that Bill Hartack, but so was Jimmy Winkfield. That's a great story. Rode all over the world.
Here is Joey Freshwater, Linda Rice, back-to-back wins.
I'm surprised that he's not vying for favoritism with the 4 Drew's Gold. He's run well. Is he going to be as good on a dry track?
Parks Shipper from Philly, Daydreaming Boy.
My top choice. I have no idea why he's the longest shot on the board. I think he's run against some good horses, and he's run well.
Start number 2, Cool Kathmandu, broke through on a sloppy track at Aqueduct.
He may be the speed along with Joey Freshwater, but he ran a track that was very kind to speed last time out.
Drew's Gold has mentioned some issues out of the gate each of his first 2 starts, but he won them both.
But that's the concern. He's jumped up twice at the start, and, he had a little early trouble last time. I ended up working on a good trip after that, but he's okay, and he could have room to move forward.
And we're both surprised. This is still your favorite clubhouse. It is Pletcher, but coming off a maiden win.
I get that it's Todd Pletcher, and you don't want to just be dismissive of him. And if he were 6-1, okay. But to me, and I don't think you disagree, Greg, he looks like the least likely winner. Very puzzling favorite.
5 minutes of post in the Jimmy Winkfield. Let's welcome in for the first time, Jonathan Kinchin. Hey, JK.
Hey, what's going on? Look, this is the type of race where it feels like a lot of these have a very similar style. They're all going to be kind of forward. They're all kind of quick away from there. And when that happens, and they all kind of have similar speed figures as well, final speed figures. When that happens, I'm looking for the horse that I feel like kind of has the biggest pace edge, or a little, at least a stamina edge. And to me, there was the 2 Daydreaming Boy, like the horse that Andy likes. This horse has shown a lot of early speed. He's got a couple of dirty races in his last 2 races, I think, that kind of help his price a little bit, where I think he might have been facing a little bit better. He also was facing a sloppy racetrack going 7 furlongs, so there's lots of reasons to be able to ignore that. But if you look at his race 3 back, I feel like collectively, from what all of these horses have done, that was the best race that had been run. So in a race where they all kind of look the same, they kind of feel the same, give me the horse that has the most early speed, the biggest upside, and to me, that's the 2 Daydreaming Boy.
Andy, Jonathan, together again.
This poor horse is looking for a reason to scratch right now, carrying around way too much weight. It's a little too early for this much weight. And I think one of the things, and I think Jonathan will agree with this as well, this is a ridiculous price on this horse. How is he 6-1 in this field? And I just think there's vig in there because the 5 doesn't make sense as a 2-1 shot. I suppose Clubhouse could win, and you never want to dismiss Todd Pletcher. They could always improve. But you see he breaks his maid in his 6th start last time. He does it by 6 lengths, and he still only runs a 73 buyer. What it really says is he just beat a weak field.
Well, let's go back to Joey Freshwater in here. one of only 2 multiple winners in this field, along with a 4. Won in the slop at Churchill Downs, and then came here to New York in the mud, and step by step by step, he's improved his figures as well.
Oh, yeah. You know, I mean, listen, he ran a good number last time out. But I'm going to, you know, when I see horses like, and I looked at his figure last time, the second place finisher, 62, 54, 73, and then an 80 here. Now, his figure suggested he may have been improving, but still, he ran his best number. The horse who finished third, 54, 59, 64. So it makes me wonder if that's the kind of number you want going forward. And one of the reasons you particularly want to look is a wet track. And sometimes those wet track numbers are a little unreliable. Now, I'm not saying he can't win it. I think 3-1's a very fair price on him. But, you know, I picked him second. I just feel like looking at this race, I don't think you can be overly surprised by anybody. The only thing I'll tell you, looking at the board, once again, is I just think Clubhouse is overbet.
And this horse probably is going to be the favorite with the gates open, Drew's Gold, according to the multi-race wagers. Drew's Gold, back-to-back wins. We talked about the problems at the start. Let's move forward here. 23-point Beyer speed figure improvement, start number 2.
Right. Now, to be fair, it was, you know, off a long layoff, and he'd won his debut. But once again, it's a 5.5 furlong races. When we talk about speed figures, the kind of figures that I found over time that might be the most unreliable, not to say it's an unreliable number, are ones that are at odd distances, 6.5 furlongs, 5.5. Don't run them that often. I'll give you an example. The second place finisher last weekend, 67, 62, 62, bang, 74. So did he really just improve a lot? And what if it's a number that maybe is a little bit lower? Now, even if it's a number in the mid-70s, the argument for him is he's improving, he's second off a layoff, he's getting better. He got left again, but you have to be a little concerned. This horse has jumped up now twice in both. Are we going to be surprised when he gets left again, Greg?
Yeah, we'll see if third time he can break that habit in here. Obviously, as the competition gets better, it's tougher to overcome those problems. Let's go back to Maggie.
I'm hoping he does, and this is the first time he's pairing races back-to-back, so sometimes, as we often see, professionalism comes with experience. I'm going to take Drew's Golden here, but I can't really argue against anybody. As Andy pointed out, number 1, Joey Freshwater, you wonder if he's a little bit of an imposter, or at least his figures are a little bit of imposters, as it's just, I mean, even if you go back to his race back at Churchill, in spite of Trainer would come back to win with a 48 Beyer. I mean, he looks fine. I mean, Linda's horses, she's winning a lot of races, and they're running to their looks. They look good, collectively speaking. And he's just another one of those, but he's going to have to do it on a dry track against much tougher competition. Cool Kathmandu, I think, could be the quickest in here. But he is a horse that strikes me as one that would prefer a wet track. You know, those just very narrow hooves, a little bit smaller, typier, handier, just to skip over the surface. I'm not as sold on him as I was last time when he broke his maiden. But I do give him a lot of respect because I think he very well could be the quickest in here, though. We'll see if Drew's Gold can break. Greg.
All right, yeah, keep your eyes on post 4 in here with Drew's Gold, and he has become your favorite here at 2-1, trying to make it 3 for 3 to kick off his career. He got that win, 3-year-old debut, after having not raced since May. That was late January.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this race. But I'm hoping that Jonathan and I are on the right horse for Daydream Boy. Seems like a big overlay at 6-1 in my opinion.
Still that same price on the board. Clubhouse for Pletcher, the last in line. Off that maiden win, it's the Jimmy Wink field. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
All set. And they're off. A stumble at the start there was Cool Kathmandu, and that hampered Daydreaming Boy, who's at the back end of the field. Cool Kathmandu has got early speed, and Drew's Gold is right there in second. They're a clear 1-2. Joey Freshwater is taken back at the rail is in third. Then Clubhouse is in the clear in fourth, and Daydreaming Boy is moving to the outside here for Dexter Haddock is the trailer. 2 off the lead. They sprint towards the 4 furlong point, and to the inside it's Cool Kathmandu, and Drew's Gold is right there up on the outside, is ready to pounce. They went 23 and 2 for that opening quarter mile. Clubhouse is just off of them. Daydreaming Boy is getting the hurry up here, going to be wide as they approach the quarter mile pole. Joey Freshwater still waiting for room with Jose Lescano, is starting to move in behind rivals as they approach a quarter mile left to go. Cool Kathmandu is backed out of it. The leader is Drew's Gold, and Clubhouse is ranging up on the outside. Joey Freshwater now gets some clear running room. Drew's Gold kicks for home, is up by a length and a half. Joey Freshwater, Clubhouse, they continue to chase from second and third. Drew's Gold is finding a final furlong and is now 2-3 lengths in front, approaching the 16th pole. It is still Drew's Gold, Clubhouse chasing with Joey Freshwater, but Drew's Gold will remain undefeated. It's Drew's Gold to win the Jimmy Wingfield. Clubhouse for second. Joey Freshwater in 1 minute 13.09 seconds.
Broke much better this time for the first time in his career. Now Drew's Gold is 3 for 3.
This was an impressive win. I mean, he just demolished this field. He actually broke for a change, you're alluding to, and just put himself in position. Clubhouse ran okay, finished a distant second here, but he just brushed the field off top of the stretch. I'm curious to see a final time of one. Greg, can you see it?
1:13.
1:13. I mean, the track's been playing very slowly. 1:13. 09, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it compares to races going forward, but geez, this horse looks okay. I mean, once again, you want to see figures afterwards. But he was a week the best in this field.
3.5 length win maybe in the end.
Jimmy Chapman got himself a night. Buys a lot of horses for low prices, and $25,000 is a lot for Jimmy Chapman, actually, and this horse could run. Worth a lot more than that, I'll tell you that.
3 wins, 3 different racetracks. Churchill, Laurel, now Aqueduct. And now a stakes win on the resume as well.
And you have to like that he broke as well as he did. You know, another step in his improvement as well. Obviously, the competition's getting tougher, but I imagine he's thinking about a race like the Bayshore on Wood Day. And listen, in a perfect world, he gets to the Grade 1 Woody Stevens on Belmont Day.
Ooh, big dreams.
Allowed to dream. Why not? You know. And I know one thing about James Chapman. He's not afraid. He is not afraid to take on some tough spots. So we'll be seeing him down the road.
We go to Hot Springs, Arkansas. 50,000 starter allowance to kick off their Saturday card. 2 turns, mile and a 16th. Big favorite here, Mahamel, and an equipment change for trainer Joe Sharp's going to take the blinkers off. Let's go live to Paula Duca.
Happy Saturday to you guys as well. Stakes day there at Aqueduct. We do have a stakes here at Oaklawn as well. It'll be the Dixie Belle. A good 10-race card here at Oaklawn today. Now, the track is labeled as muddy, which yesterday was good, and I was still confused, but they have labeled it as muddy. It did rain overnight. Now, there's not supposed to be any rain today. It is a little windy out, still a little chilly, so I don't know how it's going to affect, whether it's going to be a little bit faster later in the card. Another note here, Steve Asmussen is 5 wins away. Not only is he the North American leader in wins, he's 5 wins away of being the leading trainer in wins here at Oaklawn history. So he's trying to make history all over the place. And when you start this card, it looks like a 2-horse race between the 4 and the 6. We'll get back into it when we get back here before the race. There's about 13, 14 minutes to post, but I thought a very good card, guys. I thought Mahamel is going to be tough in race number 1. I thought there's some other horses in the sequence, and then Randy Morse as well. I think might be able to be a formidable favorite in race number 5 if you're looking at the early pick 5. But you can hear the call from the post behind me. We'll get to Tampa, and then we'll get back to me, Gregor.
All right, Paulie, we look forward to it. As he said, we head to Oldsmar, Florida. 3rd at Tampa coming up. This is a maiden special weight. 6.5 furlongs. And here's a big long shot you're seeing on the screen in here. Obviously, Matt Doyle, the 4, was expected to take plenty of money in this spot for Whitworth Beckman. And let's take a look at Matt Doyle.
Whit, by the way, was the assistant to Chad Brown.
Indeed. This was the last time spring on dirt for Matt Doyle.
The knock on him, obviously, is that he's had his share of chances. But he hasn't really had his share of chances against a field at this level. And they tried the turf last time for whatever reason. He didn't run well. It's in that sort of odd sealed track race, 2 races back. He's way the horse to beat.
Second to Zandon, second to early voting, and just he never panned out.
It's amazing, right? It is really amazing when you think about it, right?
Early voting, your Preakness winner from last year. Zandon was 3rd in the Kentucky Derby.
I mean, it shows how tough the game is, right? And it also shows how important it is to win when you're supposed to win races, because you meet tougher horses and then things don't go well. I think he is a big overlay right now at 3-1, though.
Let's go to Acacia for more. A minute to post here in the 3rd.
And we'll start there with our old friend Matt Doyle. And it's interesting because he does have a little bit of a turf look to him physically, so I can understand trying the grass again. He's also a very long, kind of tubular type of horse. I can understand trying longer. But going back to basics, it does seem with the dirt sprint today, he's also the type of horse that he used to wear a shadow roll. He used to wear blinkers. They've really experimented with a lot of different types of equipment with them. And with the blinkers coming off today, he doesn't have any real equipment extra on his face today. One thing that I've also noticed, and it's always been a little bit of a criticism with him, is he's always been a horse that's been a bit reluctant to switch leads. He did it a little awkwardly last time, but in his last few races, he has been switching his leads in the stretch where he needs to be. He looks incredibly fit in here today. I think that this is a good spot for him, and I agree with Andy. I think this is the right type of company because I don't really trust even some of the others that he's facing. The number 3, Little Big, right to his inside. You'll see that he ran in those maiden optional claiming races over at Gulfstream. Those are races that are written quite frequently at Gulfstream Park, with the exception of if you're a Florida bred, you do not have to run for the claiming tag. So they're often made in special weight quality. With this being a Florida bred, that he's never run for a claiming tag before. Coming in off of a 3rd place finish last time out, off a bit of a layoff. This is a small, compact dirt sprinter type of physical, and he looks very, very quick. He does have that early speed too. I noticed last time that his head was kind of turned in the gate, maybe lacking a little bit of focus, and you could see that. He was pretty sharp on the track as well. But I thought that he was interesting from that pace advantage that he does have, and Tyler Gaffleone picks up the mount. The number 7, Jerkovic, has been taking a lot of attention all throughout as he goes back to the dirt. I do like him cutting back in distance. He's not huge. He's always been a horse that's kind of maybe a little bit of a stuffier type, but he looks very well muscled in here today. Physically, I kind of liked him on the turf, so I'm not sure what to make of him and the money that he's taking with the switch back to the main track this afternoon. He did frame up nicely out on the track, but I thought that the 3 and the 4 could perhaps be a bit tougher in this particular spot, Greg.
Acacia, thank you. We know the 3, Little Big. He wants to try and do it on the front end. Matt Doyle, though, down to favoritism, as we expected in here. Today, you would think is going to be the day.
Hey, if he can't win here, and he's going to, we were talking about it off camera, he's probably going to be closer to 8-5 by post time, and he should be. If he can't beat this field, then he's got a long row to hoe, or a tough row to hoe going forward, waking his maiden.
Jonathan, you going to Doyle or not Doyle?
I'm going to not Doyle. The problem I have here is this horse had some numbers on the dirt, but that was for Rudy. And he didn't run very well last time on the turf for the new connection. So I'm going to look to the 8, Bucktown. This horse ran well first time out on the synthetic, took a little bit of money. There's been 2 winners out of that race, then came back. Didn't run particularly well on the synthetic, but then has okay numbers on the turf. Now, the unknown is the dirt. It's an American Pharoah out of a Scat Daddy mare, so you don't really know what to expect. But I do know the horse is well-bred, Glen Hill Farm, homebred, good-bred, well-bred horse. Has taken a lot of money, drawn towards the outside at Tampa, where the inside's typically not where you want to be. I'm going to try to beat the 4 with the 8, Bucktown.
All right, JK, good luck. Bucktown, first time on dirt, has been going long on the grass for Tom Proctor.
Yeah, not my kind of horse. In general, I mean, these horses, my estimation, listen, I respect Jonathan's opinion, and he is a new shooter here, but the dam was all turf for first foal. Now, there is dirt from the 2nd generation. The 2nd dam was a pretty good dirt horse, but, I mean, all they're doing is running the horse going long on synthetic or turf, and now they're going short on the dirt. They're basically saying, and maybe it's the case, that they just got everything completely wrong, and you're only getting 3-1 in that proposition? Not for me. I mean, that horse is the same price basically as the 4. It's one thing if the 4 is even money and that horse is 6-1 or something, right? 8-1. I mean, you've got a known quantity against an unknown quantity.
See how it plays out here. Matt Doyle, the 4, down to favoritism here. It's a 10th opportunity.
The 3
break
is
his maiden.
The 3 is the co-favorite. You got to be kidding me.
Speed going to be in front.
Yeah, but these races are awful.
Jason Beam, the call. Here's race 3 from Tampa.
Here's Erlin up to the outside draw. Going up. And in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Good start for Erlin. The Big Calico showing good speed, and Little Big in the blue colors down toward the inside. Also forwardly placed as they come out of the chute. It's the Big Calico and Little Big. Those two, 1-2, Erlin out in third. Matt Doyle comes up between runners now to put a nose into fourth. Doc Carson up the rail from fifth. Then comes JJ's Justice, Bucktown, Jerkovic. They line up 6th through 8th, and they're about 5 ahead of Fun at the Fort, who is the early trailer with just over a half mile left to go. The Big Calico at a big price in front by a length. 22 seconds for the opening quarter mile. The wind at their back, though, as they go into that far turn. The Big Calico 3/4 of a length to Erlin in second. Here's Bucktown up on the extreme outside, now rallying up into third. Down on the inside comes Little Big 4th. 2 more back to Jerkovic, who's 5th right now, about 4.5 off the speed. It's 2 more back to JJ's Justice as they wind around the far turn. Erlin and the Big Calico about to be joined by Bucktown on the outside, and these 3 going to face up to the top of the stretch pretty much as one. And here's Bucktown on the outside. Bucktown out about the 4-path. Room at the inside for Little Big. A big seam down toward the rail. Jerkovic trying to move up from just in behind. JJ's Justice running on as well. A final furlong left to go, and it's Bucktown and Matty Martin in front. Bucktown by the 16th pole quickly, 3.5, 4 in front. The Big Calico going to try to hold off second from Jerkovic on the outside, but it's going to be Bucktown to win it here at 7-2 by 4 in the end. Big long shot, the Big Calico was second. Jerkovic was third. 3 horses across the track for 4th, 5th, and 6th.
First time dirt, first time sprinting. Nice call, Jonathan. Bucktown the win for Tom Proctor and Glen Hill Farm as we head back to Oaklawn and an early pick 5 to kick off their card on a muddy racetrack. Let's go back to Paulie.
Oh, sorry. I was getting questions here, guys, right before the race for somebody was asking who I liked here in the first race. You know, when you look at this race, you look at Mahamel in here, and the best 2 races, I understand this horse has got 5 second-place finishes, but the best 2 races are on the slop. A 99 buyer and a 94 buyer. They tower over this field. I actually think the only other horse that can win this race is the 4 in here. I'm not giving you guys much. I think the 6 looked tremendous on the racetrack. Hopefully you got your pick 5s in. I'm 4-6 in here. Let's go to track announcer Vic Stauffer. 1 more left to load to start off your pick 5 here at Oaklawn.
They're at the post. They're off. Slow start for Mia Comet. He is last early. Mahamel is first early. Stellar Tap alongside him. Then comes Jedrick and Great Heart to the outside and Icarus. Then Carnivore, and the early and slow start has Mia Comet at the back of the pack. So Jedrick and Stellar Tap are 1-2 at the clubhouse turn, and they're just crawling along up front. Jedrick leads by a head. Stellar Tap is second by a length and a half to Icarus. And now Icarus is going to move up. Leading rider Christian Torres realizes they're going slow, and he is going to press the pace now with Icarus 3 deep. Meanwhile, Mahamel is in 4th. Mia Comet is caught up to him with Great Heart at the rail, and the trailer is Carnivore as they quicken the pace up the backstretch. Jedrick and Stellar Tap are still 1-2. Jedrick inside, Stellar Tap outside. Now Icarus is backed off. He's 3rd and 2 from the front. Then another length and a half to Mahamel and Mia Comet outside him. Great Heart stays at the rail. He's got 4 lengths to make up, and the trailer is still Carnivore, and the 2 leaders are still 1-2, and they're Jedrick and Stellar Tap. Jedrick is inside, Stellar Tap outside. Icarus now to re-engage 3 deep, and here's Icarus within a length of the lead. Mahamel is in and amongst horses. He's joined and passed by Great Heart, and here's Great Heart moving through at the rail. Meanwhile, Mia Comet is outside, and Mahamel is now dropped back to second to last. He's not going to get much. Top of the stretch, Icarus has the lead from Jedrick. At the rail, it's Great Heart. He's on the move. Center of the racetrack, Carnivore is coming on, and now finally Mahamel has found a stride, but he's still 2 from the front as Jedrick has the lead. It is Jedrick, Carnivore to the outside. Mahamel too late, Jedrick and Greathouse. It is Jedrick. Jedrick beat a photo finish for second between Greatheart and Mahamel. Carnivore finished fourth.
Jedrick, the upset score to kick off the card at Oaklawn, 18-1 in the opener.
He was a very hard horse to make after breaking his maiden in his 12th start last time out. But he got a very good ride. Nick Juarez, who continues to impress me by being alert. He's not the speed here. And it was a bad ride on Mahamel. He broke. He could have been on top. He's been a horse who's been hanging a bit. You're supposed to keep going forward with him. They were not moving up front. And it fooled the announcer, but those of us watching the race were able to see that he was just out of position the whole way. And the announcer thought he had no chance top the stretch. He obviously should have won the race. And it was just a question of the rider making decisions that were passive that allowed him to become a victim in this race. And I didn't bet, but if you bet Mahamel, I know he's favored. I can understand why you're frustrated.
Strange race, yeah, from the heavy favorite in here. Meanwhile, 18-1, Jedrick to kick off the action in Hot Springs, Arkansas. We'll have those prices when we come back in the Jimmy Winkfield. This horse has a future as a sprinter. 3 for 3 now, 3 wins, 3 different racetracks, including the Jimmy Winkfield. Here in the second start of his 3-year-old season for trainer Jimmy Chapman with the apprentice Jose Gomez. We'll be back with more right after this.
Introducing a stallion, as top class as they come. In 22 career starts, he won or placed in 12 graded stakes, competing in 15 grade ones, earning over $1.7 million. His undisputed speed is evidenced by 7 100-plus Spire speed figures, a 3-time grade 1 winner, Raging Bull.
Back on America's Day at the races in the Jimmy Winkfield at Aqueduct early stakes action. Drew's Gold, very impressive.
He was so much the best in this race, it's not even funny.
3 for 3 to start his career for Jimmy Chapman. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Here with winning connections of Drew's Gold, Jimmy Chapman, along with owner Stuart Tujimoto. And guys, you didn't pay much for this guy. And Jimmy, this has kind of been your gig. He's a good-looking horse. What drew you to him in the first place when you purchased him?
We had to stretch on this one. We had to pay 25, but no, I mean, he was a beautiful horse. He's a little offset up front, same old story. Yeah. But he has, you know, he was beautiful. Yeah. And he's got pedigree, so that was the whole thing.
Undefeated, broke today. Jose had a handful of horse down the backside.
Yeah, he didn't shy from the doors today. We stood him yesterday, and he was really good. We let him walk out the front, and yeah, it all worked out. He's learning, and he's getting better every race.
Stuart, what would you hope for this now 3 for 3 undefeated son of violence in the future? Are you going to kind of stick to these 3-year-old sprint races?
We shall see. No, we're hoping to get a long one in, and we'll either take the option of the Derby or the Preakness, one or the other.
Think you can stretch?
Absolutely.
I love the positivity, guys. It's worked so far. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
The power of positive thinking has led Drew's goal to be 3 for 3 and now a stakes winner, Greg.
He was impressive. This is a fun horse to keep your eyes on going forward. When you can start your career like that at any level, do it at 3 different racetracks, and he dominated this field. Looks like he has a big future. $5.50 for the win. We move on to race 4 here in New York. Start of a pick 4 here. And this is it Tenebris? Breaks from post 2.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see Tenebris taking so much money in this race. I don't think he's impossible in here, but this is a pretty competitive race and a lot of speed.
2 gets the rail, all about the money.
Not taking a lot of money coming in from California, but David Jacobson's horses have been running. I thought he was a very dangerous horse.
He's the all-time scoring leader.
What am I missing?
12-1, King James.
Oh, King. I'm sorry. Duh. He was awful last time. I can't take him. I don't think he went without the lead.
Turns and conditions for Randy Prasad.
Just looks like he's overmatched here. Not fast enough, but it is Randy. You never know.
Big player here. It's a big price, too, isn't it, on Ikigai?
Yeah, I don't like him, to be honest. He's been getting away with murder, and I thought Upper Level would be more aggressive in here, but you can't argue his form.
Win for Goldland, a race off the claim.
Another horse who's a reasonable price in this race. I thought he fit well in here. Got involved with the winner last time. It was the other speed. Thought he was dangerous.
Biggest price on the board, this one, Class AJ.
Yeah, if he wins, people will be glad he wasn't in the pick 6 with the carryover.
Mo Rewards, beaten even money favorite last start.
My top choice, wide against a gold rail last time. Thought it was interesting Linda cuts this one back off the claim.
And Upper Level, blinkers going on for Natalia Lynch.
He's a better turf horse and probably not a real player in this race, but you'd think that Jose Gomez, who is riding as an apprentice for the final day today, you'd think he'd be a little more aggressive than last time. It didn't work.
Clips Award winner as outstanding apprentice. Yeah, take advantage of that final day here for Jose Gomez before he becomes a journeyman rider. So pick 4 begins here. So we take a look again here at Ikigai. Michelle Giangiulio second off the claim, and a horse that, at least of late, and typically likes to be forward.
Yeah, he got away with murder last time. It looked like there was a lot of speed in there, and they just let him go up on the front end. And he ran well, though. He ran a good figure. I just wonder if it'll be a little more competitive in the front end. You have to think, Tenebris got to go a little bit inside of him, but also Upper Level, who was in there, they rated last time. Well, it didn't work. So you'd think if it didn't work, you'd try to be more aggressive. On the other hand, he's been in good form, and I can understand why people like him.
I want to just let everyone know, 2 back at Oaklawn, dead heat for the place. Runner up there, 1, 2, and 6, dead heat for second there. So 1, 2, 6, dead heat for second, and 3 in that first at Oaklawn with an 18-1 winner to kick things off. Let's go back down to Maggie.
Let's take a look at one coming in from California, and actually the 2 I'll look at are both turnbacks in here. And I really don't have a problem with your current lukewarm favorite in Tenebris. You couldn't ask a horse to be more consistent than he, never finishing worse than 3rd. But all about the money. He'll come in here for David Jacobson, and last time out, I thought he just sat a perfect trip, honestly, and was just probably second best at the end of the day. But most of his racing has been done around 2 turns. He does have the 1 6.5 furlong race that you can see, which was good. Physically, I'll be honest, he looks more like a horse that would like 2 turns, would like a bit more ground to work with, because he's very tall and kind of scopy and just lanky at the end of the day. I wish he was carrying a bit more conditioning as he makes his first start here, but I can get where he's dangerous, and he's a generous price of 6-1 right now. I'm really interested in the 8, who's the other turn back in here, Mo Rewards. He's been a little bit of his own worst enemy in his 3 dirt starts. He 3 back, he blew the brake badly. There's argument he was the best horse, then he was eased, just not really kind of handling things that day. And then last time, it was a racetrack tilted towards the inside speed horses, and that's exactly what Longshot Storied Fella got to do. He is coming back on relatively short rest, and last time he was out wide, at least in the 3 path, throughout the running of that race. Well, his energy levels out here on the racetrack are superb as he makes his first start for Linda Rice. Really pumped up. Huge warm up with Eric Cancel aboard, and looks by far the best in this field. Physically, yeah, maybe he wants more ground, maybe he's a little bit more a turf horse, but on the day, he's the one I'm going to take. JK, who you taking here?
You know, Mags, I was a little bit interested in the 6 Win for Gold. It's kind of a nice situation if you like a horse when they have a dirty race last time, and I would say that for Win for Gold. Just didn't run well, had a slower figure, but I like when you can kind of tie it in with an excuse, and there was an excuse. There was a trainer change. If you look back to what this horse did last time he was with Linda Rice, absolutely fits with this group. And I think you're getting paid a little bit, 4-1, because of that last race. So I'm looking for Win for Gold to kind of run back to that previous race where Jake Rocks won, and 2 horses out of that race have come back to run well, so to win, actually. So it just feels like if she can find, Linda that is, can find the form that they once had with Win for Gold, I think is very competitive. I was going to pick the 5, but it's a little bit too early for a 10-strike horse.
Still means shots for everybody watching. He had to sneak it in. Well
It's
done,
never
Jonathan.
too early for a 10-strike horse, Jonathan. What are you talking about? Who are you kidding?
You took up the mantle for him, by the way, earlier in the week when you gave him a mention. 3-1 favorite is the 5, Ikigai. And look, this horse can be forward. Do you think he has to have the lead to win, though?
Well, the only other time he won, he stalked. He was close. I would be uncomfortable without the lead. He's only 1 for 11. I just think the 9 has to be more aggressive today. I get it. He could be in front, but I don't know if it's as clear he's going to be the speed in this race as it was last time. And I think they could get moving up front. And he got away with a very slow pace last time. He can win. I'm not saying he can't. I just thought it was a very tough race, and I want a little bit of a better price. I think this race, Greg, is very similar to a number of races in today's card. They got some pretty wide open big fields today. I thought today's card is the best card we've had all winter.
It's a good one. It includes coverage that's going to happen later on today when we switch over to FS1. That starts at 4 Eastern time with the Grade 3 Withers on the road to the Kentucky Derby. And Arctic Arrogate's back in action. We'll also have the Sam F. Davis on the Derby Trail from Tampa Bay Downs. First things first here. We're kicking off a pick 4 sequence in this 4th race. Favorite is the 5. It's Ikigai, Jorge Vargas Jr., Michelle Giangiulio. And we'll see if this horse can try and do it on the front end here. As we go upstairs, Chris Griffin, the call in the 4th from Aqueduct.
Mo Rewards. Mo Rewards goes in. Last to load will be upper level. Here's upper level. Upper level goes in. All in line. All set. And they're off. Ikigai shows early speed from in between horses. There's King James in the early mix, is going to take second. Up on the far outside is Upper Level. Win for Gold is progressing nicely, and here comes Win for Gold is ready to challenge these early leaders. That's the leading 4. Turns and Conditions is in the 5th position, is now 2 off the lead. Tightly at the rail is going to be Tenebris, who's now in the 6th spot. There is All About the Money. Towards the back end of the field, Mo Rewards and Clash AJ at the tail end of the field. They went 23.38 for that opening quarter mile. Ikigai is trying to shake loose on the front end. Win for Gold is tracking right there in second. King James lost a touch of ground, is trying to re-rally to the inside here of Upper Level. They're 3rd and 4th. Tenebris is under a full drive, not making up some ground with All About the Money. From the back, Turns and Conditions is trying to rally on with Mo Rewards and the trailer. Clash AJ, Ikigai turns for home. It's Ikigai who hugs the rail, is in front, is still up by a length. Win for Gold is in full pursuit now, and King James tips towards the outside in the center of the racetrack. It's Ikigai still still in front. Ikigai is still up by a full length, call it a length and a half. Win for gold. King James is just making up mile ground. All About the Money with a late rally as well. Ikigai is almost there. It's Ikigai up by 2. All About the Money is running up into the exacta, but Ikigai gets the score. Ikigai over and oncoming All About the Money, then King James. And Win for gold in 1 minute 12.92 seconds.
10 strike. Four Corners Racing got the lead, was sharp out of the gate, and Ikigai leads every step of the way.
Yeah, he just waltzed along through a pretty slow first quarter of just under 23.2 and 2/5. When I don't know why they put blinkers on upper level, he showed absolutely no speed whatsoever. And Ikigai was just past a big close by the 2, who was galloping out very well.
Watch for next time. We're going to conclude action here on FS2. We're back on FS1. That starts 4 Eastern start time. And we'll have the Grade 3 Withers. We'll have the Sam F. Davis, 2-year-old champion filly Wonder Wheel back in action as well. Up next on FS2, FIFA World Cup Final, Real Madrid and Al Hilal. That's next. We'll see you on FS1 at 4 Eastern.